Hey, so I wanted to show off some of the models I made for the ice cave. The last one I just made was this mushroom. Gonna kind of squish them and make them different sizes and whoopsie, thought I deleted it. Different sizes and kind of spin them around. Maybe make the tops, grab the top and then we'll see if we can like angle it up, different sizes and stuff like that. But that'll be for like an ambient light source that we're gonna put in there. That was just made from a simple cylinder and started smushing it down. For the icicles, we made this will be like a cube, and then if you grab a couple of the faces, I think if you grab like 9 faces, you can grab more than that. But there's a circular rise, and it'll give you like a little circle right here, and you can use that to like extrude it down. That's how I was able to make the like cylinder pillars that are coming down right here. Started messing with some of the edge loops just to try to give them some shape. And then I hit a bunch of like smooth modifiers on here to get some of the poly count to go up. From there, I was playing with the sculpting tools just here in Maya, playing around, learning how to use some of those to give it more like water was dripping or accumulating in certain areas. And then on this blue one that just got selected, that's going to be reduced to lower the poly count because I think, yeah, 72,000, and I wanted to lower it down a bit, and I stopped at 6,000. A lot of the faces are just here on the back, so they might get ended up getting deleted. They stayed for the UV editing though. But the for I started using the UV editor because I found out a trick on Maya that you can go into the rendering pipeline. There's a lighting. You can go into these transfer maps, and if you add two different, the target mesh will be like your low poly, and the source mesh will be your high poly. You can get different types of maps from like alpha, shaded, diffuse, displace, and the normal maps. I was taking normal maps and taking them in, and that's how I was able to get like some of the shadows to come on here. So it's a lot lower poly count, but it when you lower it, you can kind of see some of the like not the pixels, but the polygons that show up. And when you do that little workflow with light maps, you can get the normal maps that get put on there, and it hides it. Like here, you can see it on the boulder. Like this one's a high poly count, and it's real smooth. But then when I go over here to reduced one, you can start to see all the faces and the lines coming through here. This one doesn't have the light map or the that lighting set up to where it bakes the normal maps on there, so you're able to see a lot of those polygonal faces. But like for here, when I started making the walls, it went from I don't know, 100,000 faces down to like 5,000 faces. And you can't really see a lot of the shapes on there because I started baking on the normal maps here in Maya. I know you can do it in Substance Painter and Substance Designer and stuff like that, but I wanted to learn something new to be able to try to do it in Maya. Yeah, and it worked pretty good. It hides a lot of the polygonal little rough patches that you start to see in there. But for my rock, I wanted a rock that I could use from like different sides, so use it in different areas. So started doing that, and then for the UVs, it's a little bit more complicated because there's a lot of UV distortion on when I was messing with them. I was using the sculpting tools on here, and that's how I was able to get the shape. And it really started warping the UV distortion. So I was cutting it down in different, like smaller sections for the UVs. and that's the best as I can get it without spending too much time on it. I was trying to see what I could figure out for this part to reduce the UV distortion, and it didn't really do a whole lot. I think it might be too steep of an angle. I was really trying to get the stretching to cancel out right here for this little extrusion that popped out. And I started cutting down more here in the middle and the sides, but I don't know, I just couldn't get it to, I guess they're just too steep of angles and the warping was just getting real bad. But it's going to be like just a rock material, so I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal. I might even be able to do it with the ice texture that we're going to make later on. And then these walls would just be like modular walls. Um, they stay as plain, so the UVs pretty much don't really get too crazy. But I wanted like walls that I could put like, as you can see, like side to side, or um, even if we were to go up and down. It was tileable. I started playing around with the symmetry. That was what I was able to get like the lines to line up on the tops and the bottoms and the sides. ZBrush has I keep seeing they have like a wrap modifier that would be really cool if Maya would do it, but I was just trying to learn out on this one. And then as you can see, I did a lot of these three on the end. They have the normal maps from the high poly mesh baked onto the low poly mesh. And then I was using some of I was using one of the brush tools. And then if you go into, there's sorry, let me find it, stamp. And you can add in like rocks, or there's a couple of the ones where it was like I used this rock one for this one. There's this nice leaf one that doesn't really show the leaves. It just kind of gives the imprint of some of the shapes. But I was using the leaf one, the rock one, and one of the other cracked ones. This black and white leaf veins. And that's how I was able to get different little textures on the walls to make it look like it's been aged or worn, or little rockies got knocked out of it. For this one, I wanted to go, there was a wall like this on a tutorial that we were watching for our class, and I kind of wanted to see how this one would work. And so I used a pillar to make like these big old ice chunks, and I'm hoping to make this ice textures, and then this might be a stone wall kind of getting eaten out, but it's frozen over with these ice clusters. This wall right here at the very end, it might be a ceiling tile actually. It's gonna go for how the icicles kind of drip down uh, with these little humps that are in there. I'm gonna use that to place the square parts of these kind of embedded in there to where it looks like it's drooping down, not just from the actual icicles, but like started from the ceiling. It started like building up right behind it. For the UVs on this one, the little mushroom, it's nothing too crazy. UVs for icicles, the rocks, and then yeah, these are just planes that come through. I did break down big ol' ice chunks. They're just gonna be, uh, I guess, big cubes that got dissected pretty good. And that's what I have for the ice cave models so far. And we'll be getting into texturing here soon, and that'll wrap us up and build another scene. Thank you.